Hello, I'm going to go over the importance of having a crafter build on your character. There are several benefits to doing this. One, I have 20 characters. And so if you're going to manage 20 characters and have them playable and not be kind of stuck in a situation where you have to go farm a large amount of skill points in order to have all your crafting points filled in, as well as having a viable build for dungeons, trials, PvP, overland, whatever you're choosing to do, you're going to need a very large amount of skill points in order to have that all filled into one build. So what I suggest is you go to your armory, and every character starts off with 2 armory slots. So you can always have your usable slot and then your crafter slot. So I have several armory builds here, of course. And so what I do is I have set up for a stamina build, basically, because I want to have this build set up for speed. And so I have 2 different sets primarily. I have the Adept Rider craftable set, and what that does is it gives me major expedition and major gallop at all times. The other set I'm wearing is a 5-piece set from the Banished Cells. It's called Jailbreaker. When you wear 5 pieces of it, it gives you minor expedition at all times. So these 2 sets stack because one of them gives major, the other one gives minor. And then I'm also wearing the Ring of the Wild Hunt Mythic. Now this is not a requirement, but if you're looking to make your build as fast as possible so that you're running around maybe farming nodes or doing surveys, or if you're just doing your daily crafting writs, this build is very fast. And so the other thing about this build is I have the Steed Mundus stone, and all of my gear traits are in divines, so that this creates a fast build because the Steed Mundus stone, as you can see right here in the new feature for this update, will tell you what the Mundus does. I'm getting 15% more movement speed with the Mundus and having divines on. And so let's go over the skill points. As I said, you're going to need a lot of skill points to be able to fill in your crafting. I've counted these out, and if you're going to have a character that's still working on research, like these points here, if you have your research and all of these filled in, maximized for crafting, you're going to need roughly 153 or so skill points. Well, that's a lot to farm, especially if you've got 20 characters. So in order to make it so you can have playable characters and have a very diverse roster, I would suggest looking into a crafter build. You can always park your character on this build, and your hirelings, like this here, they will always load as soon as you log into your character, and you can do a really quick pickup on those and then load your other usable build, what have you, depending on what you're doing, PvP, solo, or going into a dungeon or something like that. But if you have a crafter build, this makes it so you don't have to farm as many points per character, and you can still have them quite usable. A suggestion for skill points: once you get your character up into CP or at 50 or higher, and you've gotten all the skill points that you're going to get from those level upgrades, go into all of the public dungeons. And how I do this is I go into the map, just like this, and I hold the square button, and then you back out of this to where you're in this list here. And you go to the very top of the list. And as you can see, when you get to the top here, this right here where it says group event, that is what when you've completed the group event boss for the public dungeon, and that's marked right here. So for the Alakir Desert, you want to go in and find the group event boss. Also, while you're there, you want to grab the Skyshard, and every time, for example, let's just look at the Alakir Desert on the map real quick. So here is the public dungeon, and there's a way shrine here. So you could, for example, take it up this way, grab these 2 Skyshards on your way, and then go into the public dungeon. Or if you happen to come this way, you could pop into this delve, grab the Skyshard, then go into the public dungeon and grab this Skyshard, as well as killing the group event boss. That if you do that for all of these zones, or even just some of them, you're going to end up with a far larger skill point pool to work with. And then you can build yourself a crafter build pretty quickly on all of your characters, as well as having a viable build for other activities. Like I said, you just run the banished cells to where you can get some Jailbreaker gear. Ask your group if they get any Jailbreaker gear, if they wouldn't mind dropping it to you. And then the Adept Rider set is, again, it's craftable. You just go to your guild hall that has all of your tables, go to the DLC rail here, and there it is, Adept Rider. And so that is the sets that I recommend for the crafter build. And as you can see, this guy is quite fast. So if you need to run around and do surveys, do your daily crafting writs, any of that, that makes this very easy. Another video I'm going to cover at another time is how to power level skills. This is the build that I use to do that. You can go in and slot skills that you want to power level while you're doing master writs, because there's a lot of XP in that, and you can slot them while you are turning in your master writs, and you can power level things because you have spare points on your crafter build that you don't need to fill in. So that is my suggestion for a crafter build and why they are important. Just a quick go over the champion points here. Make sure that you have, again, all of your stuff now. The great thing about this update is they made a lot of this stuff passive, so make sure you fill in the meticulous disassembly here, as well as all these other farming. Like if you're going to do surveys, make sure you have the plentiful harvest filled in. If you're going to go farm for furnishing plans somewhere, make sure you fill that in. Make sure you have all the appropriate stuff for a craft build filled in, so that you get the full benefit of having all this stuff. You can fill in whatever you'd like for the red and blue tree, but I like to go pretty defensive in case I run into something. I can just kind of survive it and run off. It's not really meant to have a battle with anything. It's just kind of a more run away, get where I need to go really quickly and get out. But that's the essential build and the recommendations for those. Thank you for watching.